I just think my show is the greatest show since chopped liver. And the reason why is because I think that it's just great information for everybody. I say that every show, and I know that people hear me say that, but I truly mean that. And this show morphed into being a great informational show for people. My first guest, who's not only my guest, she's also now my friend. She's also my sponsor, one of my sponsors. I have with me Anna. I have Anna van Straussenburg, and she's the owner of Anna van Straussenburg, CPA. Welcome back to the show. Anna, thank you for everything. Thank you for supporting me in the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do and what makes you different. Okay, we want to talk a little bit about that. And then also I'm going to give you some kudos too. Go ahead.
Okay. I started in the accounting business a little over 30 years ago. I actually started off the day after my 30th birthday in working in an accounting firm, and after getting some experience I decided that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Well, you actually are proud of being a nerd.
Oh yeah, I got teased a lot when I was growing up for being a nerd, and I did well in school, and I was one of those kids that didn't have to try too hard. And I really like numbers, and I just really enjoy accounting because to me it's like solving a really big puzzle all the time.
You love what you do.
And I love the people. I talk to my people, I get to know them. And I try to work with my clients several times a year, my business clients especially. I like to meet with them right about now, or actually the end of October, in November, and we look at their books throughout the whole year and get a good tax projection, what they're going to owe before we do their taxes. And of course I do their taxes, so I look at the books again. And then mid-year, I look at the books just to get a feel for where they're going.
Well, also what I know what you're all about, and it just exudes from you, excellence and integrity in accounting.
Well, I believe in excellence and integrity in my life.
Absolutely.
I remember getting scolded as a small child for telling a lie, and my parents explained to me why it was wrong. And I don't think I've told any lies since, because I can't stand to tell lies. And I can't stand to be not ethical. They require us to take courses in ethics, and, I kind of giggle because I feel like they're preaching to the choir. Of course, they go over the gray areas. And there have been people that when I was working for my former boss that asked him well, you need to get our taxes down. And I remember sitting across from my boss and watching his face get red. And he said, I will take every legal deduction I can, but if you're asking me to cheat, I'm going to hang up this phone right now. And the guy's like, no, I wasn't asking you to cheat.
Right. But you know what? Yeah. You are all about your clients learning and understanding their numbers. That you're big about that, and you work with them hand in hand. They work, you get to know them.
Oh yes.
You want them to know QuickBooks. You do QuickBooks tutorials. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I want you to talk to them, to the audience out there, about why that's so important for you.
Well, it is really important for me because if the person running the business doesn't understand what they're doing financially, then they can't make good decisions on how to grow their business. Or they can't make good decisions on, do I need more tax deductions? Maybe I should invest some of my extra cash into equipment that I need for my business to make my business more successful. So that's why I really believe it is super important. And I have a new client who's actually somebody I've known for years, and she said, help, I got this new CPA, and he tells me I don't need to know what's on my balance sheet or my profit and loss. And I said, oh, that's so wrong. Please come to me. And she goes, yes, that's why I'm talking to you about it, because I want to come to you. She said, it scared me when he says I don't need to worry about it.
Well, what's scary too is if you don't know your numbers and you don't know what what you're really doing and what really things look like, you cannot make money.
Yeah. And I I have had so many clients come to me, and they really said to me, "Oh, I don't really know too much about this accounting stuff." And I said, "Well, I am going to teach you."
And that's what she does. You also are a QuickBooks Pro advisor.
Yes.
For a very long time, almost 20 years.
Yes.
That you do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up the lines to the audience because Anna likes to, Anna likes to offer for everyone to get entered in to win if you think you know QuickBooks, you don't. And I always say that because it's true. You probably don't because you don't know how to use it, how Anna can help you learn how to use it for your business.
That's true. There's so many different ways to do QuickBooks. There's the very simple way, like just writing checks and making deposits, but there's also better ways where you can really get more information out of your reports by maybe using the class feature, which people don't know about, but if you have different segments of your business, you can separate those segments of your business to see how each part is doing by itself. There's, depending on the type of business, you can have customer classes. You can sort your reports by jobs, and I can teach you all that and teach you really how to look at it.
She also can get you a discount on the QuickBooks, what is it called?
It's the online version.
The online version of that, and a lot of people are going that way now.
Yes, Intuit is kind of forcing people's hand because now they are making even the desktop version a subscription-based service.
So listen, get in here and call right now and get yourself into it's a QuickBooks tutorial. You're also going to get a consultation about your business along with that. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. I'm letting everyone call throughout the rest of the show for it. Also, you want to know a little bit about Anna, go up on her website. It's Arizona CPAs with an S.com. You can also call her. Her phone number is 480-964-4030. That's 480-964-4030. She does free consultations. She works nationwide. She does second opinions. She's rated with the Better Business Bureau. We have less than a minute. What do you want to close them off with?
Well, I just wanted to say that, my boss that I worked with when I moved here to Arizona invited me to buy the business, and he became my mentor.
And you know what? You don't ask somebody like Anna to buy your business unless you trust them and know that they're going to do a good job. She's who you want to talk to. Our number here to get entered in to win. This is a QuickBooks tutorial. Our number here is 602-277-5369. If you don't have the online version, she can also get you a discount for it. She will teach you how to use it better than anyone because you're not going to know how to do it the way she does. Again, you could call in here at 602-277-5369. Check her out on her website. It's Arizona CPAs with an S.com, or call her. She does free consultations. It's 480-964-4030. That's 480-964-4030. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk further because there's a lot going on in the CPA world.
Yes, there is. So
we're going to keep on talking here because we're live in here. So, okay, so right now everybody will think, well, okay, so when you say you wanted to talk a little bit about extensions, everybody thought, well, that already passed, but it's not necessarily so.
Well, the extension time passed for businesses. That was September 15th. And boy, oh boy, I was working hard.
Because everybody does an extension.
Yeah.
If you own a business, you're going to get an extension.
Yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of my clients are procrastinators. But I know that because I've had a lot of my clients for years. And so I'm aware of that. And so
but I think what you also do,
make room for that.
I think what you do is too. You have said that you like to talk to them within every few months, and so they're already on top of it. I think they think, well, I don't need to deal with this now because Anna will be able to help do it.
Yeah, that's true.
She already knows what she's doing with it.
Yeah. And I know as a couple of my clients who have a lot of work to do, I need to sort of get them into getting their things in a little sooner, but we did it. I have extra help that comes in, and and is actually a former co-worker. My boss's son comes in to help me. He chose a different career path, but he still keeps his CPA, and he's still very good.
You mentioned to me before you came on that you wanted to talk a little bit about trust and individuals.
Well, they're coming up, and I want to make sure when we're on air we
We're
talk
gonna do
about that.
Absolutely. I just wanted to kind of
Yeah.
bring it up so I kind of understand what it is that you want. With trust, I didn't know that they had like a separate time.
Well, it depends. Oh, yeah, they have a different time, and some trusts don't have to have separate tax returns. If it's a what they call a living trust or a grantor trust, a lot of times those just can be reported as part of your 1040. But some kinds of trusts, if they have their own identification number, and if they're an irrevocable trust, that type of trust, then they have to have their own trust tax returns.
Well, we're going to talk about that when we come back big time
And
because
so
that's important.
a lot of times when somebody passes away and they have a trust, they need to do the trust tax returns. So,
And it's important to have a CPA that understands all of this too. I think that it's important for you also to talk a little bit about why having a CPA, as opposed to trying to do it themselves. We've talked a little bit about that before.
yeah. Well, that's important because, we can advise you on certain things, and even sometimes advise a person to go seek out a lawyer, because I saw a trust agreement. Unfortunately, the person was kind of already too late. It was the person had passed away, and I got they needed help getting the identification, the EIN from the IRS, and I helped her do that. And I looked at the documents, I thought, oh boy, they really needed to have a better lawyer do this, because this document's not very good.
That's
you
sad.
know. And it may have been like a do-it-yourself type of thing, or they just got a paralegal that really
So
wasn't
many people.
qualified.
So
Yeah.
many people. We're back.
And so, oh, here we go.
Welcome back, everyone. I've been talking with Anna right now during the break, and we talk on Facebook land and out there. And so we continue to talk here, but as we're open on air now, I want to talk, it's so important about certain things. One of them, of course, is we want to bring this up to people, and we say it a lot, but it's important for people to hear it over and over and over again. Why having a CPA? Why don't do it yourself? Don't do it yourself.
Yeah, well, there's just so much in the tax world that you need to know. So much tax law, so much important things. And we can also look at your documents, especially if a lot of people have trusts these days. And I can take a look at them and say, you know what, you may need to contact a better lawyer, get this updated, or your trust is too old. I discovered from my mother's trust advisor that he had to update her trust because the laws changed. And so one of the things I can advise somebody on is when they need another professional.
This is what I love about Anna, because she really looks at everything.
Yeah.
You don't let any, you even told me one time when I had, it was 12 p.m. or not 12 a.m. On one of my emails, because that's what you do. You love to research, make sure things are done right. I would have loved if my CPA at one time, when my dad had passed, to tell me you should better get an attorney, because I got not in trouble, but I lost money from that, and it's just so important, and that is what makes Anna so different. Trusts, let's talk a little bit about those.
Well, they have their own tax return. If they're a certain kind of trust, if they have their own identification number, if they're irrevocable trust, they need to have their own trust tax return. But some trusts, like a family trust or a grantor trust, there's a lot of names for it, living trust, if it has the person's social security number, that just goes on your 1040. And so it's important to understand what you have when you form a trust. A lot of people, they try to do it themselves. They go through LegalZoom, or they try to do it cheap by going through somebody that's a quickie paralegal type outfit. And you really need somebody who understands estate planning and trust when you do something like that. And so I'm happy to refer people to attorneys that know how to do this, because I'm not a lawyer and I can't give legal advice, but I can see when somebody needs legal advice. And I'm always happy to say, hey, I can't do this, but I can refer you to somebody who can.
And wouldn't you be happy if somebody did tell you that you might want to look into this?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And why not to do it on your own? This is so important. Please, people, when you're listening to these things that you hear on my show, when you are trying to do anything online, there's so much that you don't know, all the laws. There's intricacy, especially in today's world, more than ever.
Yeah, I've looked at people where they set up their business documents, and maybe they wanted to elect an S corp, they're an LLC, and they don't understand how that needs to be done, and they don't understand that their documents have to be written in a way that that is correctly reflected. We had a client that did it themselves, and they unfortunately left us. They got an audit. The auditor contacted us and said, by the way, their S corp documents actually negate their S corp election. Their LLC documents negate their S corp election. And we had asked them, oh yeah, did you go to a lawyer to do this? Oh yeah. Well, it turned out no, they didn't. They lied to us. They told good riddance for that client, because they weren't very honest. They weren't honest in a lot of ways, which is why they got an IRS audit. And there were things that they hid from us, which I was glad that they weren't our client anymore.
Well, it's sad, but people try and do things like this.
And the IRS auditor, congratulated us that we did our due diligence, because we provided him with documents, where the client said these things to us. And he said, well, I'm just so sorry. These clients had a secret bank account they never told you about.
Wow, that's really sad.
Yeah.
Now,
so it's important to get good advice. And if you are going to get a CPA, by all means, be straightforward with them.
And you know what?
If we don't know something, we can't help you.
But more than anything, you want to work with somebody who is has integrity, and it's all about that. And Anna, that is what you're about in every way. Now, Anna, you also work nationwide.
I do. I am certified in California, Arizona, and New York.
So you can call her direct, and she will do a free consultation for you. That phone number is 480-964-4030. That's 480-964-4030. Her website is ArizonaCPAs.com. You do second opinions. You do that for people. You're rated with the Better Business Bureau. And today we're talking a little bit about, trust. I had no idea that there were different kinds of trust, and that they need their own tax return. That's interesting on that.
Yeah, for some of the types of trust they do. And it's important to know which kind of trust you have and whether it needs a tax return.
Now, let me ask you this, because today you said you wanted to talk a little bit about a new client that you just got.
Well, I'm so happy. I got this new client who researched CPAs on the internet, and they found me. Partly, one of the things she found was the YouTube channel that's under the name of Carol Blonder.
Who's that?
And she found the video. So
that's cool.
I want to give a little shout out to Carol Blonder for her YouTube site. And you should go check it out. There's many YouTube videos about owners of businesses who come here to talk about their business. Anyway, this client said, go ahead and talk about us, not with the name, of course, but this client unfortunately hit a bad patch, because of some family situations, and they just kind of put their head in the sand and didn't do their taxes for several years. And so they came to me and said, well, I've done my own taxes on TurboTax, and our taxes are really simple, but we know we're in big trouble. We haven't really gotten many notices from the IRS saying, hey, you owe us, blah, blah, blah.
I'm surprised because they're brutal.
Yeah, well, there was an IRS notice I found in their paperwork. I haven't looked at it yet, but
they didn't open that one.
They didn't open it. They were afraid and realized that they needed to come to a professional. Well, you know what? I have worked with people like that before. I've contacted the IRS and I said, hey, we have a situation here. Let's do what we need to do to resolve it and get these people right.
You know, a lot of people out there do put their heads in the sands when
Yeah.
it comes to their tax situations. People get into binds. People get. It's not even, you know, bad things happen to good people.
Oh, yeah.
And more, it could have been that you got sick, you know, something, especially with COVID. I bet you
Yeah.
anything,
Well,
a lot
they
of
had
people
a
had to.
family member that was sick,
Aw.
and unfortunately, a family member that was making things more difficult.
One of those.
One of those, yes, and not helping but hindering, you know, that kind of thing. But you know, do you want to talk to the IRS by yourself? No, that's a very bad idea because you don't know all the tax law. And plus, I have done it so many times. I am an expert on how to talk to them. And, you know, I tell them the story. I get them on your side. You know, I get them sympathy for you. I can make the violins play. I can make people cry on the other end of the phone.
That's awesome.
And I have actually had someone saying, "Oh my gosh, the story's so sad. Let me see what I can do. I may have to refer you to a supervisor, but let's get this person's problem fixed."
Aw.
And I've done it so many times that that's what's happened. I've gotten people penalties waived and everything because I came to them, the IRS, before the IRS came to the people.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, let's say they want to come clean.
Yeah, the other thing that I want to talk about with people that when they talk to the IRS, the problem is too is that they're emotionally involved, and then you might say something that could get you into deeper trouble.
Yeah.
You might get angry at something and react. Right?
Yeah.
You are not invested in that way.
Yeah.
You're invested in your client to help them, and it sounds like you'll go far and above what you
yeah.
have to do to get them back into shape.
Yeah, and I try to, you know, I kind of feel out the person on the other end of the phone. Most of the time they're very reasonable. Every once in a while I get somebody who I can tell when I'm even just trying to get, you know, we have to go through a process to make sure that I've sent in the power of attorney and everything. And I've had somebody who starts butting up against me, and I've only had to do this a couple times, but I've disconnected the call because I wanted something more sympathetic on the other end.
You know what, Sonny? Those
And I
sometimes.
was like, "Oh, oops, sorry, we disconnected."
Right, but guess what? When you get, sometimes it's just another person.
Yeah,
right?
sometimes I realize I need another person on the other end, that I get somebody who's like, I can just feel that they're so by the book that they're just not going to be sympathetic.
Or to budge.
Mm-hmm. And so I've only had to do it a couple times, but, you know, I got one lady who, she just sounded so angry, and I thought, oh dear, I don't want to deal with her.
What you want to do is you want to deal with Anna. Her number is
Yeah.
480-964-4030. It's ArizonaCPAs.com.
Oh, we're done. Oh, I forgot to mention the extensions, but that's okay.